Hello, I'm Shagun, and here I'm with Haresh. He worked on multiple projects, made same project but multiple formats. So we'll be having one discussion how he worked on it, what learnings he had, and what are the new technology that he learned in last 2 to 3 months while working on his project with DT. So yeah, Harish.
Hi, I'm Haresh. I'm studying in a B.tech first year, St. Mary's. So now I wanna say about my project experience and how I worked with the deep thought and how I learned and how I did my project with the help of the deep thought and the faculty. So basically, my project is about electricity power consumption. So at the starting, we done with Figma, and then we learned about the Node.js and then
So
React.js.
Haresh, your
Yes, ma'am.
project is about electricity. So how you
Yeah,
come up with an idea, what problem you're trying to solve? Because initially I think you worked on the framework where you
yeah.
choose that real world problem and trying to solve that problem with the technology. So how you come up with that?
Initially at starting a project, we need to have a problem statement, and then for the solution and like what they say, problem statement, solution, and
Stakeholders, value
yeah,
proposition.
stakeholders, UX journey, value propositions, that all
Ha.
things. So starting, we need to find the what is the problem statement and what are the people facing the problem that we need to solve, and we can provide them the basic needs. So at starting, we are searching for a problem like what we need to solve, what are the problems that the people are having. So basically, today's generation, we are having information about everything that we are consuming, like how much data we are consuming, how much power you are, like how much everything in a we're having a clear cut data about how much you're consuming, but we're not having the data of how much electricity we are consuming. Like we have the data how much electricity we're consuming for every month, but we're not having the data of which device is consuming how much electricity and on which day how much it's consuming. So for that problem, we try to get a solution, and there is a starting point of a problem statement, like finding out how much electric power consumption is being done by the appliances and by day. So initially we got an idea through the basic thing, like we use the mobile data daily. So we get like if you are using any Airtel or Geo mobiles, you have a specified apps like Airtel
So
Thanks App or Geo.
So you are telling that on a daily basis, on a regular basis, we are not able to know how much electricity consumption that we are having.
Yeah.
So you thought this is a problem statement to solve where we can track what how much electricity consumption that we have on a regular basis. For that, you come up with a solution. So what
Yes, ma'am.
was the solution that you come up with? You were telling some Airtel, Jio, or mobile. Hmm.
Yeah, like if you use data in your mobile, you can know how much you're consuming, like how much data you're consuming for a particular time, and which app is consuming how much data. As in the same way, if you have the data, like if you have the data of how much electricity you're consuming daily and which appliance is consuming how much, you can control your consumption and you can save your money, as we are trying to save the data we are consuming. Like if you if you use a mobile, you can see like YouTube is consuming this much of electricity. If you know that YouTube is consuming more electricity, I mean more data, you will try to use it less. As in the same way, if you know that this device is consuming more electricity, you will try to reduce it and you will try to save the electricity.
Okay, so your application is very interesting. Your application will tell us that which device in your house or wherever you are living is consuming more electricity. So likewise, you have your applications in the mobile phone.
Yes,
Uh, in your application will help us to track in our house which device is consuming how much electricity so that we can reduce the consumption of that. Okay, good.
yes, ma'am.
So it's really nice problem to solve, and if you guys made a product out of it, it's really good. So
Yeah.
how you started means you come up with a problem statement, prototyping and all, then what happened?
Initially, we started with the Figma. Like we know we need to show them the how much electricity they're consuming, but there is nothing like only if we show them how much they're consuming, it's not enough. So we try to divide the data in the different sectors, like in which day how much they're consuming, which month how much they're consuming, and which devices how much consuming. And then we try to give them like we have the data of the electric consumption through that we can assume their per bill. Like if we have the 2 weeks data, we try to say them like we will make an average and we will estimate them the monthly power bill. So through that they can have a idea about how much they are going to get the power bill. Like that, we created some sectors of data, and then we made our Figma project. We through Figma project we got a clear-cut view of our project and how we need to segregate the data and how we need to provide the data for the users.
So in Figma project itself, work on the data, or Figma was just a prototype of
It's just a
your
prototype, like
application?
it's just a prototype now.
Acha, Figma was just a prototype of your application.
Yeah.
So I think then you think about the data in the next step. So what was your thought process when you were trying to figure out the data and all? So uh, did you work on any framework or something?
As ma'am, like for getting the data of electric power consumption, we need to find for different sectors. They are having a different types of power bills. Like for industrial waste and the home waste, there are different types. So for that, we try to get focus on the industrial waste first, and then we because getting the data of power consumption, it's typically a large thing because for this we are using the sensors. So in the for sensor it's cost a little more. So we are trying to target on the industrial purpose first. So for that we made a framework of industry things like uh, through the industries, how we can connect through the users, how we can collect the data from the appliances or the things, and how we can store the data, and how we can how we can provide the data in such a manner through that the user can understand easily, like how much is consuming and how we need to reduce the consuming.
Okay, so you took the industry first, that industrial data, it will be easily available, household won't be available.
Yes, ma'am.
So after doing that Figma prototyping and after absorbing what your application look alike, and you worked on the problem statement a lot, then after that you probably worked on the Node.js
Yes, ma'am.
to build your application. It was a full stack application, but I think it was more focused on backend.
Yes, ma'am.
So you worked on, I think, which framework you worked on? Decision making framework.
Decision making thing.
So who are the two stakeholders that you were focusing on this?
Basically, the Node.js is about our data collection and the decision taking through the data.
Hmm.
So in our application, the stakeholders are the users and the sensors which are giving the data.
Okay,
So as
users
of
and the sensors. Okay. Hmm.
users and the sensors. So as of now, sensors gives the data like how much electricity you're consuming, and through the data, we are taking the decision like we are taking how the like which which device need to be run for the more time and which device need to be run for less time. We are taking that decision with the data. So in the Node.js, as of now, we are not having the sensors. So we made it through two different stakeholders like users and the person who uploads the data. As of now we made it with that two persons. So the person who he goes to the device and he notes the readings and he uploads the data, and the one who is like the principal or any other manager person, he sees the data and he make the decision through the data. Like is we need to go control the electric power consumption in this sector. We created like that for our Node.js.
Okay, so you're telling currently sensors are not available in our application, but any person can be involved and that person can take reading and enter the data.
Yes, no
And manager can access that data and take a decision that,
decision.
okay, in this industry or in this sector, there is huge electricity consumption. So that can be reduced and all. So that is with respect to how you took that data and how you worked with data. But what I observed when you were working on the project was that you were more focused on MongoDB, understanding data, and so what was that? Means what brought that attention towards it, where you want to focus on how this MongoDB is working, how Node.js is working? Because I saw you more interested in understanding whole backend of the things that is happening. So what was
So
it?
as of now, we are trying to complete a project, but in the sense we are trying to learn about Node.js more. The
Hmm.
Node.js is all about the backend, and in the backend, at the starting, I had a lot of confusion, like how it works, how we need to understand about the Node.js. But with the help of you and other faculty, we got to know about what is Node.js and how it works. We're having a different things in the Node.js, like starting packets, collecting data, putting in the packets, and again giving it an other name, and all other things we're having, like the folder structures. In the folder structure, we're having views, public, routes, and all the other things. At starting, I got confused a lot, but then I started learning division by division. Like at first, I started learning about the views section, which is about the front end. I learned how to change it, how to change the heading of the name. And next, I learned about the API creation, create API, and then API integration and all the other things. And next, I thought to learn about MongoDB. Like MongoDB is where we store the data that we are giving, the information we are giving, that we are storing the data in the MongoDB application. So I started learning about the MongoDB. Uh, Through MongoDB, I got to know where the data goes and how it is arranged there. And then I got to know where the MongoDB URL is present in our application, like in the folder structure, in the config.json, and also how to start the application, how to run the application, how it works, and all the other things.
So you are telling that initially there was lots of confusion, but when you went deep into that, you started learning step by step processes where you first understood, okay, there is one front end, there is a back end, and use there is a front end, then config.json, package.json. So in that, I think you come up with means we come up with multiple stories all together because you guys were also part of it. Well, when we explored, okay, there is how to cook biryani, how
Yes, ma'am.
to cook Maggie. So Maggie's story was famous for create API, that how you can create API. There is a packet, you can open the packet, close the packet, pack a tiffin, and then biryani story, how you can cook
Yes, ma'am.
biryani same as like that Node Node just server will start. So how all this stories help you to connect with the technology itself?
They are like lifetime examples through which we can easily understand how it works. uh, the Node.js, like how to run the Node.js, how it works, how it stores the data, and how the process goes on. That all we learned with those examples, like as you said, how we prepare biryani, or how we prepare Maggie, like opening the packet and giving the data, specifying the names, again storing it, calling it, and all other things. It was a wonderful experience learning the things, and they helped a lot to understand about Node.js and about the projects as well as.
So Node.js helped you to really understand about data, how data flows into system,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then it was just a back-end experience that you got. That if how your two stakeholders were there, how one stakeholder will enter the data, how that data will go into different modules, create API and all. You understood the folder structure. After
Yes,
that, means there was this discussion that UI is not good.
yes,
Then
ma'am.
again, we come up with the next module that, okay, now we'll work on more
Reactjs.
uh, full stack application where we'll introduce Reactjs. But again, so how you come up, because your application was very different from others. You added
Yes, ma'am.
multiple screens, multiple pages, the images, the background was very different. So
In the
what was
React,
your thought process? Huh?
after Node.js, we started learning about the React.js. at the starting you said about the React, just like the things about cards and the static and dynamic pages and all the other things. Like all are trying to do the dynamic pages. Like if you enter the data changes frequently. It refreshes every time. But like I want to show my home page in the starting the screen itself. So for that, I created an other static page, with, and I created a total of three cards, and in one card I kept my home page as a static page, and the other two are as dynamic pages. One is for giving the data, and other one is for the showing the data and taking decisions.
Okay, so you are telling that initially everything was dynamic, but you introduced two static pages
Static.
also that would be your home page, and after that there are other dynamic pages where you showed a card and in that images and all. So what are the new learnings that you got in terms of UI and product when you were working on a React application? Because Node.js was more focused on the data and you demonstrated good learning with respect to data. But what you learned when you were working on the React application?
In the React application, we need to focus more on the UI designing, like how we need to present it, how the interface should be, and how the user can interact with the app, and how we can understand easily. So for that, we try to learn how we need to design a page. Like at the starting, we're having different dynamic pages, and in that what we have ordered in the with the example of Deshmukhi Express, if you order any something, the order goes to the other page, other dynamic page, and there the delivery man accepts or rejects the order. If he accepts, again it comes to the same dynamic page like the previous orders. And in the same way, if the user sees that, he get a interest, like okay, these many orders are going in this application, I can order through this application. So we need to create an interest for the user to use the application. So we learned about the mindset of the user. We need to understand the mindset of the user, and we need to create an interface according to that. So in the React.js and the full stack application, we tried to understand the mindset of others, and we took a lot of feedbacks based on our interface or based on our application, and we change a lot of things in our application.
So in when you're working on the React, your main focus was on that. Ki now my data is sorted when I worked on Node.js. Now I want to understand what my user will
One,
experience and how I can create interest in the user so that they want to come on this web page or on this application more and more, and that application use case would be go up. And the bigger ideas, I think you learned the a precognition, how you can ensure that initially when user come they don't have lots of things at
yes, ma'am.
once, and other things like how you can show less is more, you are not showing lot at
Lot,
once, small
yes,
small
ma'am.
things who are being shown. So you learned about bootstrap as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was a very different library because
Yes, ma'am.
you one of the experience that I think you guys you can share is uh, you didn't write a code from scratch. You
No, ma'am.
explored a lot and you used some libraries to write a code.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
what difference you saw? Because if you'll start writing a code from scratch, definitely you
It
won't be
takes a
able
lot
to
of time.
achieve it in 1 month, 2 months. But still, even though you just got the experience with respect to this full stack application, you learned a lot in terms of using different libraries and using different modules. So, what was your experience in that? Using pre-built code and modifying it using different libraries and all.
Like for Node.js, sorry, for React.js, we haven't written the code from the scratch. We just extracted it from the other libraries. We just want to know how to extract the code and where we need to uh, keep the code. Like we need to understand the folder structure at first. We need to understand the folder structure and how to execute the code, how to implement the code there, and which in the folder structure, in which section we need to implement the code and how it works, how it develops a interface, and how it changes our interface. So it's pretty much easier for us to extract the code from the libraries because it's difficult to write the code from the scratch. It takes a lot of time and it's waste of time. We just want to know how the code works and where we need to fill the code.
Yes, so I think with respect to Reactjs, already the code and the structure was given by the Facebook. So you
Yes,
just took that code, and once you will set up the application with React, whole folder structure would be given. So you guys just need to understand, okay, this is my front end, this is the component,
back
this is the screens,
screens.
understanding it and modifying that code.
This one.
So it's good that you learned a lot in last 2 to 3 months. So where you want to go ahead next means you work on a
Machine.
project. So machine learning, okay. What is your
Yeah.
expectation from machine learning? What do you
Uh,
want to do?
I think I went to maybe 1 or 2 classes for the machine learning, and next we kept it out because for our exams. I think it will be more interesting than the React.js and Node.js because in machine learning, it's totally different from the Node.js and React.js. It's about the artificial intelligence and the other things through which how we can implement in our projects and how we can do it further in a great way. So I'm very much eager to learn machine learning in coming
Good
days.
to see your eagerness. Basically, with respect to Node.js, you learned about decision making of your stakeholders
Yes,
and where human was involved. But now we are in machine learning, we will understand how you can extrapolate that decision making without
with the
any
machines.
human efforts, where we can have lots of training, we'll create a model. And I think that as per your eagerness and excitement, it would be good for you
Yes, ma'am.
also and for us also to enjoy and explore more in terms of your project and lots of projects with that we are building.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is that concluding one sentence you want to give about your learning and what you're going to do next?
It's a great experience, and I want to complete my application completely, and I want to make it as a product.
Okay. And what was the role of, I would say, deep thought in that? Because you're going to have an internship with us on DT projects as well. So it's your project, DT project. So
It's a deep thought helps us to learn and it introduces a lot of new things through which we can learn a lot of things. It helps us to build a personality also. It helps us to learn about leaderships, how to work with a team, and the things that are happening in the deep thought are too good. Like the environment in the deep thought and the faculty, all the members there, and Tarun sir also helps us in many ways. He helps us in all the ways how we can work and how we can collaborate with others.
good collaboration, leadership, learning. You learn a lot in
Yeah,
last 2 to 3 months with all of us. So hope you will keep learning, keep growing. We'll learn together, build together, and grow together.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Harish.
Thank you.